The Detroit Lions will have a top 5 pick most likely via the LA Rams. They currently sit at number 4, and they got 3 games left in the season. I don't think the Rams are going to win another one. My hope is that they somehow beat the Seattle Seahawks the last game of the year, if it matters for the Detroit Lions. If not, then I don't care what the Rams do. I don't even care about the draft pick. Like, we're going to get a top 5, top 10 for sure. That's something we won't have. The connection between Matthew Stafford and Detroit will be over for now anyway, until he try to come back and retire from here, because that is going to happen. And we got, for the second year in a row, a double first-round pick. We gave up our second one for Jamison Williams, and I think it's going to work out in the long term. Jamison Williams has 1 catch, 1 touchdown, and I think he gets more involved as the season goes on. And I think in the postseason, if the Lions finish their business, he will be a valuable asset. And aren't you guys going to be glad that you didn't sit Jamison Williams for a year? He's the future. And speaking of future, we're going to talk about the future today. We're going to talk about the future, and y'all know how I feel about the future, especially one particular future, the NFL draft. Lions fans, our season is over in week 4, and we're usually talking about the draft. But this year, we're in playoff contention, and we basically control our own destiny. We went out. It's almost guaranteed we get there. So the Lions are in control. They win, we go to the playoffs. But eventually, we're going to have to talk about the draft, and the draft is going to be a thing. And because of that Rams pick, the Detroit Lions will have 2 first-round picks, because the Rams are the worst team in the last 20 years to win a Super Bowl, and the next year be as bad as they are. Double-digit losses. Doesn't happen a lot, but it happened to the LA Rams. Les Snead said, forget them picks. He got what he wanted, and now he's paying the price. Aaron Donald is likely out for the season. But we talked about a guy earlier this week that a lot of Detroit Lions fans want. His name is Jalen Carter. But what about that other guy? What about that other guy from Alabama named Will Anderson? All right? Will Anderson. According to Josh Edwards of CBS Sports, he feels like the Detroit Lions could take Will Anderson. Currently, Detroit is projected to have the 4th pick in the first round of the 2023 draft. Edwards argues if Anderson is on the board, the Lions should select him. Here's his thoughts. With Jared Goff manning a surging Lions offense, Detroit punts on the idea of taking a quarterback and sticks with the 28-year-old. In doing so, the Lions are gifted the chance to take a very gifted edge rusher. Anderson lined up opposite Aiden Hutchinson is going to be problematic for the NFC North. Now, let's assume that we stay at 4. And you would have to believe that the first 3 picks would be a combination of Bryce Young, probably number 1, Jalen Carter somewhere in there, and C.J. Stroud in there as well. And I think it's going to be a very intriguing draft. Like last year we had number 2. It was all about what Jacksonville is going to do. This year we have right now number 4. We could have a higher draft pick, but I don't think, y'all, it's going to be too much higher. Bears are going to lose tomorrow probably. We need to beat them, and that leaves them 3 wins. Believe it or not, there was a time that the Chicago Bears had a better record than the Detroit Lions. Just think about that. So my question to you is, that means that Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and now Jalen Carter, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter, and C.J. Stroud are off the board. Are you taking Will Anderson? I would have to say resounding yes. 100%. Mr. 86 says Stafford took the curses with him. That is, wow. Wow. That's a whole nother, man, okay. I'm gonna try not to get distracted. I don't want to get distracted during my segments because I throw everything off. But how would you feel? I know a lot of y'all want defensive tackle Jalen Carter. And it really is going to come down to what the Bears do, right? because the number third right now, Denver has the third overall pick, or I should say Seattle does. I could really see them taking C.J. Stroud. So then you have Bryce Young going to the Texans. My question is this. It all depends on what the Chicago Bears are going to do. Now, my honest belief is that they take one of these guys. No matter where they are. If they're on the board, they take them. Right? They need a receiver, though. They are going to need a receiver. Because right now he got Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney. We can see what no offensive weapons makes for Justin Fields. But they also traded away Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith. They did that for a reason. Now, those guys, one was a D tackle and one was a linebacker, right? A D, you on the line. If it's going to come down to the Chicago Bears and what they decide to do, I think they take one of these guys. Now, let me ask you: if the Chicago Bears, which player do you think the Bears are going to take between those two? Which one do you guys think, in the chat and in the comment section, in the video part, which one do you think they're going to take? They will take one of those guys. And both of them will be a bane in our side for the next 10 years. However, the Lions will get the other guy. Because I believe Seattle 100% is taking a quarterback. Because they have Drew, but then again, Seattle got Drew Lock. I forgot about that. They got Drew Lock sitting on the bench. So they could surprise everyone and take one of those guys. Wow. Okay, so Nick says the Bears take Carter. Volcano says Will Anderson. And Patty says Will Anderson. Well, this is going to be something. This is going to be something. So leave it in the comment section below. If the Lions, via the Rams, continue with the fourth pick, and we know Bryce Young is going to the Texans, we are pretty confident the Seattle Seahawks at number 3, via Russell Wilson, will take a quarterback. I think the real cog in this wheel is the Chicago Bears. Let me know who you think they take between Jalen Carter and Will Anderson.